I've had Brazilian, I've had African American, the other Latin American countries, Indonesian, Malaysian, Filipino, Hawaiian, Indian, mixed race, Nepalese. Hi guys, and welcome to another Thoughtscapes. I went and I took my DNA test online on Ancestry.com, and I have to admit the results were somewhat surprising. I've had so many different ethnicities and people trying to stab a guess at where I'm from. Today I will reveal all for you guys who are a little bit curious as to where I'm from. I always get this on my Instagram, people DMing me saying, hi, how are you? Where are you from? Answer to that is I'm from the UK. I think what they're really trying to get at is where are you actually ethnically from, because I think they can gather from my accent that I'm from the UK, but they don't know where in the world my heritage is from. So a little video to enlighten you guys, to share my experience about it, my review of it, and why I would highly recommend you guys take an ethnicity test too. Before I go through with the rest of the video, please smash the like button if you like this kind of content and you're very interested to find out what your ethnicity is and go through the same process as I did. Also, if you like the content that I do, please subscribe. Comment down below what's your ethnicity. If you've gone through the test, let me know what you found out, if there are any surprises there. If you have any questions about the process, my experience, feel free to comment down below and I will give you my open and honest feedback as ever. Here we go, rest of the video coming up. Right, so I received a Ancestry.com DNA kit for my birthday. Shout out to my gift giver over there. Thank you very much. What happens is you get a kit that comes in a box with instructions, and it's super easy. There's like a little test tube that you get, and you basically have to just spit into the test tube, make sure that there are no bubbles. I think it's about like an inch worth of saliva. There's a tiny little kind of solution that comes with it, and you screw the top on, and when you screw the top on, I think in the top the solution's based as well, so on the cap, and you have to mix the solution and your saliva together and you pop it, a little tiny box that goes back to Ancestry.com. It's a free post address, so it's literally easy peasy. It takes 2 seconds to do, and the only thing that you have to do is just going online to Ancestry.com, typing in an activation code that you get on the box, and it basically notifies Ancestry.com that they should be receiving your DNA sample soon. And when they do receive it, you get an email back from them to say, thanks a lot, we've got your DNA results. We are going through the process of analyzing your DNA and your results will be with you. I got an estimate of between 6 to 10 weeks, but in reality, the test came back within 2 weeks or a week and a half. It was very, very quick. The way you receive your test results is via email, so you don't get posted anything. I'm curious to figure out where I'm from, because I'm from a part of the world where it's a melting pot and it's a hodgepodge of different cultures, ethnicities, and I know the history of my lineage, but only so far back. Maybe 3 generations back is the most I know. Aside from that, I don't know where my family has come from, and this traces your ancestry back to hundreds of years. Dun dun dun! Brrr, drum roll please. Where am I from? I'll share my results with you, and out of all of those guesses that people had about me, where am I really from, based on this scientific method, I'll show you the percentages as well. 65% Asia East or Southeast Asian, 34% Polynesian, and 1% other regions, and I'll break down it into even further chunks, but I am Filipino.
F to the I-L-I-P-I-N-O. I'm Filipino, I'm not Latino, I'm not Chinese, no. I'm not from Mexico, I'm not from Tokyo, I'm Filipino. F to the I-L-I-P-I-N-O.
I am surprised, but I'm not surprised in the way that I thought I'd be surprised. I expected to be surprised because I honestly thought that I was more ethnically diverse than I actually am. I really thought that I might have some Native American in me, possibly a tiny percentage of African, like a 0.000 European. And I tell you why, because my mum is Filipino too, but she did tell me a story about her grandfather, who in effect is my great-grandfather, about him being mestizo, and mestizo means mixed race or mixed heritage, and she said he was mestizo Spanish. So me obviously trying to do the math, I expected to have some European in me, and this DNA result has completely disproved that, has blown that out of the water, and revealed my mother to be a liar.
The DNA test results show that Joe is not the child's father.
65% Southeast Asian, 34% Polynesian. I mean, how basic Filipino can you get? I was kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Southeast Asia or East Asia is comprised of the following countries. This is weird. Russia, China, North Korea, South Korea, Mongolia, Myanmar, Burma, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore, Brunei, and Palau. In theory, it is telling me that I could still come from any one of those countries. People have told me that I look Javan. When I travelled in Indonesia, they thought I was Javanese. Potentially, I still fall in that bracket, and I don't know if you guys know about the history of the Philippines, but the Philippines is just a melting pot of so many different cultures. The original inhabitants of the Philippines, they did have an indigenous population called the Aita, more so related to the Aborigines of Australia. But the majority of Filipinos, or what we do class ethnic Filipinos now, are descended from either the Indo-Malay countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then there's also European blood into the Philippines through the Spanish colonialization, and then the Chinese trading route, so there's a huge Chinese community as well. And more recently, over maybe the past 30 years, there are some South Asians, so Indians coming there to do business, and also Koreans. Polynesian, I expected as well, because you can ask any Filipino, right? They sometimes classify themselves as Pacific Islanders. This is the debate, right? I'll tell you which side of the fence I sit on. I am an Asian, or a Southeast Asian, or an Oriental. I don't think that there's as much of a stigma around the word Oriental here in the UK, because I can say Oriental and people understand and people don't get offended by it. But I know in the States, if you call someone Oriental, that's kind of a derogatory term. But anyways, I'm just clarifying that. I know that in the Filipino community, a lot of people will identify, or would rather identify themselves as a Pacific Islander. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the actual definition of the two terminologies actually mean, but I gravitate towards Asian. The connotations I get when you say I'm a Pacific Islander are people from the Maori people from Tonga. Those are Pacific Islands, like, to me anyway. That's why I'm not necessarily surprised that I have Polynesian in me. Generations ago, people in that region were seafaring people. And they would move and travel from island to island. So I am not surprised that Philippines has been injected by Polynesians. Maybe, and I need to research the history, but it might even be the case that Polynesian blood in the Philippines was more of the original blood, and then the Indonesian Malays came. And then the not even 1% of me, they said, is South Asian. So that's like India, Sri Lanka. I'm slightly surprised, but not in the way that I wanted to be surprised. I wanted to be surprised because when I've seen reviews, people have really interesting ones, like people who look the most Caucasian, they have very, very fair skin, they have very light eyes, and they take their DNA results and they're like, oh my god, I have like 2%. I don't know why I do American accent, sorry, I shouldn't. I've seen them though, they're like, I have 2% African in me, or like, I have 2% North African, this and that. They like pluck all these ethnicities from different corners of the earth, and I thought, man, if the most Caucasian of people have that much of a genetically diverse DNA footprint, then what about me? I'm ethnically ambiguous, I don't even know where I'm from on my days. Like, I must be a whole like cacophony of different ethnicities, but actually that's not the case. But anyway, so it's just revealed to me that I am very much a basic Filipino by DNA standards. Typical Filipina. I cannot argue with the results. But interestingly enough, it does say here that I am fourth cousins with 127 people who have registered with Ancestry.com, and I'm presuming have taken their DNA results because that's how they've matched us. But that's interesting. I don't know. I've had someone message me actually on here and said, do you have anyone in your family with such and such surname? And I actually do, but I haven't connected with that person just yet. I'm looking to do so. Maybe I can do a follow-up to this video and see how that goes. Who knows? I might unearth family members in whatever part of the world that I don't know about. So that could be interesting. But yeah, it's completely impartial. So for the fact that I'm, a little bit disappointed because of my DNA results, it's no reflection whatsoever on the actual Ancestry.com DNA kit and the experience of it. It's fantastic. You should do it. Also, it's a great gift idea. Whenever I talk about it, everyone's super interested because they always think, oh, what am I? It makes them think, where am I from? I do wish like I was a little bit maybe Latina, even a little part African. I don't know. I've just realized. So even though they've put me in a bracket of Asia East, or Southeast Asian. I've gone on my genetic community, which is, I guess, one level down. It's more granular on the map of that Southeast Asia. They pinpoint where your DNA is from, and I'll show you this on the screen, but as you can see, I'm definitely from Philippines. It is just splattered all over like northern Philippines. Dense spots in the Luzon area, and actually, yeah, no, that's right, some in the Visayan, and then little splatterings here and there of Mindanao. But that's completely right, because my dad is from Luzon and my mum is from Visayas. They've done it right. But there's like, what island is that? Is that Palau? Where is that? There's a splat. Oh, Guam! Hey! Man, that sounds exotic to me, Guam. Super cool, super interesting. You should do it. Try it out. Not bad, not bad. And there's only so many stories that your family can tell you about your heritage. And because this goes back hundreds of generations, you really get to see your genetic makeup. It's so interesting. It would be nice if my kids were a little bit more ethnically diverse than I am. By the way, I did mine through Ancestry.com, but there are so many other ones. Let me just Google DNA kit. There's loads of paternity test ones. That's not the one that I want. So there's Ancestry.com, Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, DNA Testing Choice, Alpha Bio Labs. There's loads of choice. I can't recommend just one because, well, I can recommend only one that I've done. I have heard that there are some that are even more detailed. From your DNA, they can predict certain traits. And I've watched it on DNA reveal videos where they can tell whether you have more of a preference towards sweet food, salty food, if you can taste bitterness, if you are more likely to have red hair over like fair hair, brown or blue eyes. Definitely do your research. There's so many DNA reveals on YouTube, so check it out. I'm only assuming that if you want that level of detail, it's more of a complex procedure, a little bit more analysing involved, so I think they might tack it on in the price. If you've had experiences with any other DNA testing providers, let me know how your experience was, because those granular things I'm interested in, so I might even try a different one at some point. Alright, I'll see you in my next video, guys. Boom. Away, away, na 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 na. I don't, I got my huge brain fart there. Feeling the Moana vibes, and it's so apt because, you know, hey Guam, hey Polynesia. Aray, kopo.